Huh? Hello? Okay. Hold on. Hello? Can you hear me now? I just looked over and I saw that my audio link wasn't working. Also, why do you mean alarm? It's 5:37. I'm 23 minutes before I have to take my meds. I don't know why my You're early. Also, I found out why my alarm wasn't going off. Really, Midnight? I shut my doors so that you all didn't have to hear the sound of my mom steam cleaning. And now my cat is upset that the door is shut. Night. You've never wanted out of my room like this before. Night. Help. I don't know what to do. I'm just she can go do her thing, but hello, I was yapping. I don't really remember what I was yapping about. I wish my mic was working when I was yapping. She has the trauma of the shut door. I wonder why. Um, Midnight thinks shut doors are evil. Ain't that right, Midnight? Yeah. Do you have shut door trauma? But you want to eat this plastic. Yep. Anyways. Oh, that's what I was saying. I was going on this whole tangent of like, I haven't done shit all day. We've been super unproductive and low energy. So I thought I would actually make use of my day and actually be productive. And what better way to be productive than to push off all your college assignments until they couldn't physically be any later. I'm kidding. I'm definitely kidding. I'm caught up to date on all my college assignments. There's not one that I'm like putting off or anything. Oh wait, there was one I forgot to do the final response to it. It's due tomorrow. I can finish it later. I'm super smart. I make great use of my time. Yeah. We make great use of our time here. We're super time efficient. Um we're very very smart and we're very very responsible. We're so responsible. Anyways, I think today will be a great stream to practice more live 2D rigging. Yeah? Let's go to Starbucks. Like, oh my gosh. I love Starbucks. And every time I go, I just have to get a venti pink drink with light ice and extra freeze-dried strawberries. I'm actually not joking. Guilty pleasure. Sometimes I do like to go to Starbucks and order, like, the pink drink. Or, like, that summer boba drink they had. I think it was, like, Summer Skies. That one was really good. I kind of hope they bring it back, because I liked getting it on occasion. I can be a basic bitch sometimes. But other than that, I don't like Starbucks. I hate coffee. I pretty much hate anything that's coffee. I don't think coffee tastes very good. Hey! Quit tearing it up! Quit tearing up the dance floor! We need that! I think I smiled too hard too fast. I need to fix my smile real quick. It's bothering me. Oh, a new update! Why now? Okay. What the fuck? It turned off my mic! What? Why did it do that? Anyways. Oh my gosh. Technical issues, bro. Okay. We're gonna... Do-do-do. Obviously, I haven't set up Live 2D. Actually, I have. Just kidding. Alive. Look inside your eyes. Do you think I need to add this background? And then scale filtering? No. Transform. Ah! Help. I'm not good at this. Yay, there we go. Yay! We got it. Alright. What are we gonna work on today? We're gonna work on my own personal rig. Inside your eyes. She is when you need to be bald for a minute, hun. And then I was gonna... I think... Cheek puff control. Let's... Let's see if this looks good in action. Um... Um... Uh, um... 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 Uh... Oh, hi. It's the only way it's gonna look good if I tested it earlier, like before. I know it looks good. I'm gonna do the tongue probably for last. No, no, honey, you don't need out. You ate like an hour ago. Hold on. Do you have a loose hair tuck I need to pull off you? Come here. Come here. Let me groom you. Oh, wait a minute. No, no, no. Let me, like, lovingly groom you. No, no, that's even worse. Let me pull this hair clump off you. There you go. Bye bye. Also, no judgment here. I love listening to The Who. We all belong. One rise of our breath recall. You know what I actually really want to do? This is And this is extremely preemptive. I really just want to go ahead and rig her tail. I really want to rig her tail. You know what? It brings me joy. We're gonna go ahead and mesh this tail. I think... Wait a minute. I think when I originally rigged this tail, I need to check something. I need to check something. If I... Ma'am. Hun. Okay, no, I didn't. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. So I have two methods of which I can rig this. I can unmesh it. I can say fuck it and unmesh it. Or I can spend the next, like, 20, 30-ish minutes painstakingly modeling this myself. I'm leaning towards painstaking because they'll look better overall. Well, okay, first off, let's see what can heavy do? Hmm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, I don't like how that connects. Mm-mm. I don't like how any of that connects. Plus, it's very oh, voice crack. Very mesh heavy. So, I do have a slightly better way of doing this now, where it's not gonna take, I guess, as long, but it'll still take a minute. Definitely worth it. Oh. I haven't listened to it yet. But okay. I want to properly slow dance. Confirm. Well, we're gonna go ahead and... Mm. I mean, technically, I've slow danced before. First person I ever slow danced with. My dad! So the father-daughter dance. He ripped his fucking pants. While the principal was taking a picture of us. From the backside. That picture did not go in the yearbook. For obvious reasons. Yeah. Shout out to my dad for, ripping his ass. Right there. We ended up leaving the dance early because he was like, hey, why don't we go get some ice cream? And I'm like, but it's not over. He's like, trust me, let's go get some ice cream. I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. So we went. And then he told me afterwards, I'm like, dang. Everybody just saw his ass. Mm. That's what we'll do with that. We're gonna come up here. Ah! I mean, it was a fun dance you know, regardless of the fact that, you know, my dad split his pants open. It's actually really fun. So one of the few times I actually had, like, a good time at that, school was with my dad. So, major shout out to my dad and just my family in general. My family is such a huge, important part of my life. Everything that I do is, like, with them in mind in a way. And my parents also have a really good radar when it comes to, like, people. So, usually, this has happened a couple times. You know, whenever there's somebody in my life that's not great, my parents are like, hey, they're not great. Listen to your parents, guys. Listen to your parents. They can be very wise. They may get on your nerves, but trust me, you might regret not listening to their advice. And tell your family you love them, because you never know when you might lose them. Those are my two important little tidbits there. This is kind of painful so far. No, not you. Not you. Not you. You are an exception, Snack. Do not listen to your parents. I think if you listened to your parents, we never would have gotten together in the first place. If you listen to your parents, we'll never get married. No. So, I guess there are exceptions to that rule. If your parents are, like, pieces of shit or something, or, like, whatever, there are exceptions to that rule. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm already, like, This is my life. Oh. There's the alarm. You were way early. I really hope this ends up actually looking good. I don't want to do this no more. Like, hold on. I'm just gonna test this real quick. Like, it's definitely uh not perfect. I think I can use this mesh and just improve it. That's what I'm thinking anyways. Oh, look at that. When you see areas like this, definitely want that mesh to be inside. You want the mesh all to be inside. Or you want your art layer to be inside. Like, you don't want this, or it's gonna cut anything past this red line off. Ew, what is that? Brother, ooh. I already took it. Did you not hear my alarm going off? I already took it. Uh, this looks pretty okay, actually. I feel like I can keep that. We're gonna remesh this one though. definitely want to erase this one. We're pretty much just going through, making sure everything flows decently. Because the nicer your mesh, the nicer the movement. I think this is thick enough. We can... Oops, just bumped my mic. Like so. Just mesh this as normal. It's pretty easy. It's mostly just time consuming. But sometimes I find this process quite fun when I know what I'm doing. If I don't know what I'm doing though, it's like, oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That out. Sure, it's bumped out. That out. Oh. Oof, remesh like all the way up to here. That's like way off. And I will definitely say when it comes to meshing, I wouldn't exactly look at me for professional advice. I'm not a professional rigger. I'm not even close to a professional. But I do know enough now that I can kind of like start to distinguish what is a good technique and what is a bad technique. Granted, right now, the technique I'm doing is probably not that good. But for me, as long as it works and it looks kind of nice, it's fine. It's my own personal model. I can cut some little corners with my own here and there, and as long as I don't notice that big of a quality dip, I don't have a real issue with it. I'm worried about this. I'm gonna remesh this too. Boop, 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 boop. Then come here. Do the same. Alright. I think for the tail, I think that's gonna be fine. Any of these, like, meshes here. I might have to come back in and do some editing, but for now, I don't really see the need to. We're just gonna erase this, paste it, then we can grab these, and we can glue it. And if we take the glue, and I believe if we glue all of that, nope, I need to make sure it's all dark blue. You like blue? Oh. So now, this doesn't move anything, but the tail moves the entire bit of it. Yeah? Someone bonk this man. You need a good bonking. The biggest of bonkings. Alright. We're gonna create a new folder. We're gonna name it Tail. We're gonna pull open my old tail. That's neck. Oh, I named it Wolf, but I'm gonna have a separate folder for the ears. We have tail. So we have the tail flip. What did I have that set to? Was it 30? -1, +1, default -1. Okay. -1, -1, +1. We're gonna make this a blend shape. Tail up, male, or param, tail up. This took me a while to learn because I had no idea what the difference is between a regular parameter like this, where you see like everything's like circular, or the difference between that and these square ones, which is a blend shape. For those of you getting into rigging that do not know what the difference is, I will tell you. The easiest way that made me learn is personal experience. I can show you. And you guys that are experienced in rigging are gonna look at this and go, what the fuck? Here's all my toggles. You might already see an issue. None of them are blend shapes. So, when I was working on this, oh god, I don't know how I broke this model. When I was working on this beautiful dark mode, for example, I wanted to make sure that, you know, whenever I toggled it, everything would always be dark mode. However, because I did not do it as a blend shape, I had to manually go in and select this dark blue color. See this dark blue color up here? I had to manually go, copy that, turn on this toggle, and then also make this the same color. I had to do that for every single parameter that I had toggled for dark mode. With blend shape, it'll automatically even that out, so you don't have to worry about all that. It'll automatically calculate all of that stuff. Please use blend shapes for your toggles. I highly recommend it. Or you might be sad. Tail. Tail movements. Okay. So. Destruction. Did I make it a... No, I think I just made it this. I'm definitely gonna move this over a little bit. Obviously. Oh, shit. This don't look very smooth right now. Also, she looks like she's got a skunk tail. You can see, obviously, that don't look very smooth. So, what can we do? Go into an extended interpolation. Ellipses, I think 3 should be fine. Okay, this is actually one of the few times. I'll do 4. About 5. You don't want to do too many because it'll start to lag. Or hold on. I need to figure out how do I pull that menu open? Wait, edit? No. Trying to figure this out. Hold on. Let's change it to minus 30. Positive 30? Default negative 30. Obviously, we can do our... Fuck. That's the problem. There we go. Alright. Alright. I know there's a way I can do this. You're supposed to be able to just double click it. Let's try something else. Can't be edited. Cool. It's fine. Do negative 15 and one at positive 15. So we have... Okay. So... Oh. So obviously... we want to get to this. Pull this out a little bit more. Hello! Okay. Then we can do extended interpolation, ellipses. Let's try just 2. Cat. Oh, bye, cat. She said, yeah, I want in. Never mind. How's rigging? It's giving me a little bit of frustration, but it's nothing we can't handle. Okay. Let's see this now. I think that's pretty smooth. And then... Damn! I thought I could be, silly about it, but I can't. That's okay. I don't actually think... I could be wrong. But I don't think I link the tail movement to anything on her. Which should not be the case. I should be making it so it moves with the body. But yeah. Just gonna... There we go. So now she can flip her tail just like I can on this model. We're gonna do... How many tail physics did we have on her original? We have 3 on X and 2 on Y. I think we can do more than that, because you see how my tail moves? It's nice and it flows, but I think there could be some more movement. I think it could move fluffier. Don't you? Oh, my tracking. So, tail Fizz X1. Tail Fizz X1. I think. Yeah, basically just, you see how my model currently does it? I can actually give you an example because I've done this. So, like, I can have my tail go down, which is the default, but if I get, you know, really excited or I just, you know, want it, I can have the tail be up like this so you guys can see the tail moving fluidly. Basically, the option is there when I want my tail to be visible. Then I can wag my little tail for you guys. That sounds kind of... That sounds kind of sus. Now, I did negative 30 to 30. So we're gonna do negative 30. Whoa. Negative 30 to positive 30, and we want the default to be 0, and we want that shit to be a blend shape. We're gonna replicate that. And this will be X2. Same thing. We'll replicate it again. This will be X3. I think I can replicate it. Again. 4. Replicate again. 5. And then I think we'll replicate it one more time. And that's 6. Then we have tail Fizz Y1, negative 30, positive 30, default 0, ram tail Fizz Y1. Blend shape, replicate 2. Three. I might not need this many Ys, but we'll kind of like play around as we go. We usually create animations for one hemisphere and then copy it and mirror it for the second. Yeah. This is just so I can... This is literally just so I can visualize my shit. Oh, wait. Here we go. I know there's a lot of different ways you can rig certain things. I'm definitely gonna play around with the animation function this time, because I want an actual moving animation for her tail. The tail up is not gonna be an animation. It's just a parameter that I can toggle, or you guys can toggle with like channel points. Whereas the actual movement, there will be movement with the ears and the tail, where the tail will kind of do an idle wag and the ears will do an idle flick. If that makes sense. So, I do see what you mean. That would definitely work if you want it to be an idle animation or just any kind of animation. But for what I want to do with just the tail up, I'm doing it this way instead. I will be using that method for all of these physics, though. We're, gonna... Yeah, actually. Okay. Here's the fun part. The noise I can't help but sorrow. I who I was before. Spheres usually don't see bottom. Maximum they see it during debut and sometimes later. If you want full rotation, it will be better to add opportunity to show your model fully sometimes. Example like reward and redeem. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I gotcha. There are literally, there's so, oops, wrong one. There's so many ways I could rig this. I'm still, you know, very, very new to rigging. So there's a lot of things I do that any other rigger would look at and be like, what the fuck? But, you know. Oof. Can reflect that. We are gonna want to put extended interpolation on this one. I can get away with just 2 of that too. Unless I want more movement than that. Wow, actually. That looks pretty good, actually, with only 2 interpolation. Oh, it's already looking so cute. My favorite part of rigging, if you couldn't tell, I love animal features. They're my favorite thing ever. Oh, oops. Redo that. We'll do... This will be 2. We'll also need extended interpolation for this. Also do too. Oh. Ooh. Oops. Girly. Honey. Let's redo that. Ooh. That's rough. That's rough. What is your... With my previous 3D model? What do you mean? Did you plan to use it? I don't really plan to use it anymore. I really want this model to... I want Leah to be the main face. My old model was actually originally my persona, but my persona has changed, and she no longer looks like that. She looks nothing like that now. So yeah, I want Leah to be like the face of the channel. Well, besides my actual face, because I consider myself, I'm not strictly a VTuber. I consider myself more of a hybrid. I want to do, you know, VTuber stuff with this model, but I do also want to do occasional, like, IRL streams and stuff, because I do enjoy doing IRL stuff as well. I don't hide my face. I keep my face, no secret. I actually have pictures of what I look like on my Twitter and stuff. IRL? Yeah. It's like using my actual face. I don't keep my, facial identity a secret. Which I know can be a dangerous thing. But... What the fuck? What? Whoa! What? What? Okay. I can't, yeah, I know, we're gonna not use blood shapes for that. I know a lot of people, the main reason they go with, VTubers is because they want to keep their identity a secret. But I'm not one of those people. I don't care what people see what I look like. I am actually totally cool with it. Like, yeah. I think it works for me. I need to change that to 30. That's right. I know I'm definitely... I am not... I don't fit in the box for VTubing. And I don't want to. Five. we go. The dawn dead. Sing. This does mean additional work for me, but it's worth it. It's always worth it for the floofs. I love this song. You can obviously tell this creator is their first language is not English. What is your actual Twitter account? Oh, oops. Oh, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I forgot. You know, I changed my Twitter. And, you know, I totally forgot. Anytime you change a link, it'll like, it'll not work. Let's see. Oh god, I still have my, Okay, all my links should work now. But just in case. Oh. Here, let's turn it up a little bit. But some of these, I wonder if I can get away with just doing one. I can do just one for this. That works. I don't want to get too crazy with the interpolation. Because it will, break a model. Made of time. This is up. Cool. And it requires registration. Anyways, fair enough. Ask about languages. Oh, the artist that was playing earlier. You can tell based off of like her the lyrics, the creator didn't really know English super well. I think it's really cute. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna fix this a little bit. 3 goes about to there. 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. Because we want it to cave up when it moves up. Because as it's stretching, it's getting smaller, and I see my model tracking died again. One, 2, 3. Chance to fall asleep. 2, 3. Purpose, wonder what the devil trapped inside. Two, 3. See, it's just me furious, so I don't have desire to create a new one just to check their profile. Totally understandable. You are good. Coming and watching me is support enough. Honestly. Chance to fall asleep. Okay. So we're going to tail physics X. We have... We're gonna do... Actually, it'll actually follow on the body physics. Set the angle. I think I do want it to reflect. Sit in school, but later began to doom scroll too much. I'm glad able to get rid of this habit. That is totally understandable. We definitely live in like a world now where doom scrolling is kind of, it's hard not to doom scroll. I'll say that much. I totally understand that. It's hard. I have issues with like doom scrolling myself sometimes, where it's like you get in those pits of low motivation, so you kind of just doom scroll to pass the time. Or instead of like, when I was younger, technology wasn't as big of a thing. Like, I think when I was like 10 or 12, that's when when the Wii was first introduced. I was kind of young when it first came out, that was like the first console I'd ever gotten. So, like, before that, social media wasn't as big as what it is now. Like, I think they just started creating like your typical smartphones now where they had like the screens. But my family, for the most part, they still had like flip phones and like those keyboard phones. And like, you really couldn't do that much on older phones. So you couldn't do scroll. When you were bored, you just had to figure out a way to not be bored. If you were unmotivated, you just had to work through it and figure it out. Whereas now, we live in a society where, like, if we're bored for even a split second, we immediately resort to checking our phones, scrolling through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of those different social media platforms. Everything is so social now. There's such an issue, especially with in like kids and teenagers now. Everyone is so chronically online. They're addicted. It is an addiction at this point. But it's also hard because you don't want to like never be online because then you might, live under a rock and you might not even fit in with like societal norms now because, if you don't have the latest greatest iPhone, you're not the cool kid. I always hated that mentality when I was in school. If you didn't have the iPhone 16 Pro Max, blah blah blah, this top of the line $1,000 phone, you just weren't cool. Like, it's crazy how much we've changed as like a society as a whole, how much things have changed. But the thing that has never changed is your typical societal norms for how somebody should look. Those have never changed. Don't know why. Anyways, thanks for coming to my random ass TED Talk. I wanna... Tail physics. I don't think I want the shaking to be as, like... Let's try 0.6. Okay, 0.6 is a little low. Let's try 0.75. Sometimes I thought about it when I was in underground, just because literally every passenger has any phone now and almost use it. Yeah, everyone has phones. I think it'll actually look good if I transition 0.85, 0.8, 0.75, 0.7. I think I want the reaction time to be... Even to watch time, people use phone, usually not clock. Yeah! You ask somebody, hey, what's the time? What's the first thing they're gonna check? Probably their pocket. Hold on. I'm gonna delete all these real quick. Let me take this. Mm. I'm gonna keep playing with that. Yep. So far it looks okay. I just have to, you know, rig the rest of the tail physics for it to actually be noticeable. You know. Okay, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You have to do each of these, which is a little annoying, but it's fine. I wanted to see if I could potentially save time, but I can't, so. It'll probably look better this way in the end, though. 1, 2, 3. Find educational materials I'm reading. I've found so many tutorials. I've read and I've watched so many things. There's so many great tutorials out there. I personally, my favorite, and this is the person I watched for V-Bridger mounts. This is where I learned how to do V-Bridger mounts for the first time on this model. Peepoo Productions. Art Gun. I have always loved Art Gun's works. So, you know, I could be a little bit biased here. Obviously. But, if you want genuinely, in my opinion, really great tutorials, really easy, like, to listen to, besides, like, the tongue one, I'm struggling with that, but it's not really an issue on how she's teaching. It's more of an issue with me, my skill level, and how this model was drawn, which is not an issue on the artist. As I've talked about in a past stream, I'm not faulting the artist for it at all. She did an amazing job on my model, and I adore my model. It's really just more of a skill level with me. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of tutorials, actually. Alright, then I need to go. I'm gonna have to clean some stuff up later. Which is fine. Too impatient for any artwork. Fair enough. Three. Two. Oh, I don't want to listen to this song. It's kind of sad. Hello, Midnight. Welcome back. She's like, hi, mother. Stop talking to me. Just before it pulls me in. Okay. Okay, I think I got both of those. Now it's time for this one. And all in between. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, those were all done. This was not done. Oh god. Nothing. Nothing. Ride till I can't no more. To the old damn road, I'm gonna ride. Oh, posture check. Thank you. I was actually shrimping. Ah, good hydrate. Gonna take my horse to the old town road. Till I can't no more. Horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I can't no more. Gonna ride. The pain and pleasure of rigging. Okay, I've done this. Have I done this? Have I done this? Yes. Have I done... No, I haven't done this. Kind of arrow content do on a stream. So, I've actually done some in the past. I used to do snack crates with Sneck, when we lived together. So we used to do, like, pretty much, like, unboxing stuff all the time, and we try new things on stream. I've done cooking streams before. I believe I also did a stream. Oh, shit. I also did a stream where I built my own PC. That was really scuffed. I think I did that on my laptop. Your mod? Yes. Well, he's my mod and my boyfriend. It's all like figuring out what I haven't done, what I have done. If it works, it's fine. Fair enough. There's one. Okay. Let's... Damn, demoted again. Sorry! You said it yourself! We're not say yet! Even though we already have plans, we're going to be that. You demoted yourself! Bruh. How is he... Like, how is he gonna get upset at me for demoting him when he demoted himself first? You're not... And you're not demoted. You know you're not demoted. I actually can't. I think I'm gonna crash out. I think I'm gonna crash out. I need to change tracking, and it's time to charge the iPhone. I hate how little that battery lasts. But it's alright. Alright, here we go. That's better. You're like, half your words disappear. Damn. Yeah, that's my mic. I don't know. I've been trying to fix that. I can, I mean, I can turn off this. But then you can, hear my keyboard. I literally have the threshold set at 1%. So, I'll have to figure it out at some other point in time. For now, I'll just try not to yell too much. Sadness. I feel like her tail could be, like, waggier. I could have a waggier tail. It needs, like, it needs more waggies. Which means we continue. Noise canceling. I don't know if it's a noise cancellation feature or if it's just my mic. I haven't coded it to a woman voice. Cause I'm sure start going like this. I don't know if it drowns it out. I already listened to this. I don't really try to go that high, because it sounds like it hurts my throat, and it kind of does. It happens even now? Even what? Even less or even more? If it's even more, then I done fucked up. Instead of doing a noise cancellation through Elgato, can you raise your voice? Let me try something else. I mean, how's this? Is this any better? Like, when I raise my voice, how's it? I'm trying to actively raise my voice to, properly test it. It's hard, okay? It's better. You can probably hear my fan, right? And my keyboard. Hold on. Let me turn my fan off. Ugh. Keyboard, yes. Fan, no. Okay. Let me pull this towards me and pull my keyboard away from me. So my mic is far away from my keyboard, but close enough to my mouth where you can properly hear me. You can still hear it, but it's definitely not as bad, right? I hope. I hope it's not as bad. It's okay. Alright. I'll play with it more like after stream. Cause I'm not quite sure if it's just an issue with my noise gate or if it's an issue with the mic itself. Because I know most mics struggle with my voice because when they get excited or angry, my voice goes up like all the octaves. And sometimes I laugh very squeaky, so it's hard for a lot of mics to pick up some of my different sounds and noises. Like, I make a lot of like sounds. I think I'm gonna do all of these first. Now there's no problem. Sweet! I like it when there's no problem. One, two, three, four. Posture check. Ugh. Y'all really making sure I got a good posture today, aren't ya? Oh! No. Okay. No, 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 no. That's not what I wanted to do. Thank you very much. I do not want to edit the glue. What the heck? Fuck. Oh, there we go. 2, 3. I would scream. What do you mean I would scream? I would scream about what? What? He's just being lewd. Hello, Lego. We're doing things. I want you to come over. I wish that you would come and give me something to prove. I think that I'm obsessed with everything that you do. I'm waiting, trying. How do we go from like death metal to this? We love doing things here. I have so many parameters. I might stop it at 4. Depends on how it looks. Three, 4. There's some people do like a bunch of like glue and shit to the tail. And I probably could do it like that. Except that I fucking hate dealing with glue if I don't have to. I'd probably save myself so much time with just a little bit of glue. But no. I'm stubborn. And I don't like glue. 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4. Ah! Oh, we should check. Yep. God dang. 2, 3, 4. how nice it would be to use physics. Lens shapes. How does it even look? Don't even notice a fucking difference. Hold on. Let me turn this to 0. It looks terrible. Ah! I'm gonna... No, not replicate. I'm curious about something. Can I? A curiosity. How would this look? Look. Terrible. It's also incredibly laggy. Retrying it with this method instead. Just because I want to test if I can just save myself some time. Surely you can't blame me for wanting to save a bit of time. And see if I can make it look better. No, doesn't work for the tail. I could just... Let's see if we can trust the process real quick without using tail physics 1. Nah. This is the best way. Look. Well, we need to think of a better way to... Oh, this is... Stretchy. Run away, run for your life before the monster gets inside. Here we go. I think it might look a little bit better if I take this through the middle and bring that up like that. Might make it look a little more like... Have a good night! Thanks for showing up! You have a good one. Out my eyes. Cause it killed me. We are adding interpolation to this as well. Ellipses 2? 2. I'm gonna go slightly different with this. What did I do with the fucking... Damn. I did towards the middle, right? My eye. I want it to be more extreme, so I don't have to spend as long doing all the parameters, but still make it look quite nice. Cause it killed me. Oh, honey. And then we just fix some of these params. Make it look nice, cause this ain't it. It's not going to be extremely noticeable, but it will be noticeable enough if it doesn't look clean enough. So just kind of like keep that in mind. I'm not trying to make it look perfect. I'm just trying to make it look good enough that you don't see where the black crunches into itself. We don't want any of that. Like, we don't want any of that to be folded in on itself. That looks pretty nice. Remember, if, you know, rigging doesn't hurt your hand, are you really rigging right? Oh, my fucking arm. Owie. Arm is very owie. Yeah. Yay. Owie, owie. Yeesh. What is going on here? I can't tab back and forth. I don't even know what's going on with this. I can't stream and constantly read DMs at the same time. What is this? Oh, that's just... What controls that? Ah. Ow. See, that already looks fucking loads better. And I use significantly less deformers, but I'm gonna do one more because I'm extra and I definitely want it to be like extra fluffy, extra flume all the time. I will definitely have to go back and do editing with this though. I can already tell. Move up to 300%. Oh, absolutely. That's why. It's like, what do you mean only on campuses that are valid? What? How is this not valid? Oh. This song actually slaps. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Okay. Now I know we definitely have some fixing to do here. Need to hide the legs. Not that you're probably ever really gonna see this, but I know it's there. You guys know it's there. So let's make sure it's not there. Ooh. I'm not really sure how to go about this one. It's, really fucked up. Can we bring this in so we can bring this out some? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. There we go. That's a lot better. Oh. Fair enough. I'm not struggling too hard with motivation right now. Mostly because, well, I like rigging floofy tails. This looks really fucked up. That song has no right to slap as hard as it does. Just like this one. Ooh. Pinch point. What am I even looking at? I don't... This... Okay, these are folded in on itself. This guy... Okay. Yeah, we're gonna... Starting to connect the puzzle piece. Uh... That's a lot better, obviously. Like, look at that. That's so much better. Now I know this is a pinch point. Yep. Not as bad as the one we just fixed, though. But it's still kind of a matter of figuring out what goes where. This one, yep. There it is. One of these control set, there it is. Oh, I think this is actually supposed to go into it like this. I don't think it's supposed to. Yeah, it's supposed to go in like that. Isn't that funny? About this. A little bit of a pinch point. Not that bad, actually. Cool. Any more pinch point? Tiny bit here. That's fixed. Alright. Let's see how this looks now. Extended interpolation, elliptical, we'll do 1. I think that'll be fun. I think I can delete. Let's delete 5 and 6. I'm not sure about 4 yet. What do I do if I turn? No, I want it up. Fuck. Let me redelete all of these. Let's re-import the eye pendulum. Add. What do we think? What if, what if 4? I'm gonna, let's see, if I just make this a blend shape, do -1, a +1. What if I just... did one of these. So the answer is no. The answer is absolutely, beyond shadow of a doubt, no. We're gonna turn it off. Because that was terrible. I think we can come to that agreement. That was terrible. Like, that was stinky poo-poo. That was garbaggio. Fine, we'll do one more. But we'll make it all the way down here. Yeah. So we can do one. Did one here, one here, and we'll do one at the very tip here. No, I think that's gonna fuck up. See? Okay. Better yet, what if instead we use this method? No. That was also collectively terrible. Let's just keep it 3 and play with these physics a little bit. Why her tail be Jocelyn? I think 0.9 is probably our actually good. I do want it to be a little less shaky than the average, like the standard. Let's turn her legs on and see what it looks like with her legs on. Reaction time, I think, is good. If the tail goes up. Then, that looks good. Then, we're gonna go into new animation. See if I can, actually remember this right. You want the scene, aspect issues, fine. I'm gonna do what? 15 seconds, 30 frames a second. Seems straightforward. We'll start from this position. From the 1 minute mark. We want the 2 minute. No, to the 3 second. That's not minute, that's second. Oh. Don't worry, just trust the process. And then it comes back, and then at the 4, the tail's back normal. I don't like that, so I think we'll just keep it. Let's start with this. It's not. Except maybe that's too much. Maybe we'll do -5 and +5. One. Ah. -5, +5. Like that. Back to -5. Try that. So this. But 115. What, 20? Okay, okay. And then talking to myself. Okay. And then this is at 0.5. So we'll do. Wait, no. God. At 30. Here, it'll be at negative 30. Maybe not all the way to 30. Do 15. And instead, let's put it. Put it like. Put it like that. Let's see, how does this look? No, I think when this goes up, we need to breaking it a little bit. Oh, right. Negative 15. Instead of 29, we'll also do 15. And let's make it a little bit faster. Let's see. What do we think? So, now I need to remember. Speed parameters. Okay. Let's do tail wag motion. All right. All right. Let's see if I remember. I've only ever done this once. Fuck. How do I do this? Scene list. Is it this? Add tail wag. This isn't. Hold on.
Hello.
Ah. No, it just shows me how to do it through there, but it's not. That's not helpful. Can't go wrong with merely Wooflay. Well, you use Live 2D too. No, you can do an idle animation in Live 2D. I've done it before. Because there's literally like a breathing. I don't see why it's not working. Tail lag. Scene 1. Oh.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus.
You do anything specific to the animation?
That's real.
Wait, what? Oh.
Familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair. Full of
Oh, I probably... I still at work. I think I know what I need to do.
stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else. I am still right.
I have to bake it somehow, don't I?
What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let
It's not
you
how.
down.
No, I'm supposed to bake this, aren't I? Dean.
If I could start
Track.
again,
Bake animation. There we go. Bake.
miles away,
Baked, right?
I would keep myself. I would find a way.
There we go. This. I think it's this. That looks / feels right. But, believe it or not, it's not. What? Hold on. you enter idle. If I enter idle and oh, this is for viewer. I need editor. What about this tutorial? No, you're not showing that process. I've done it before and I can't remember how I did it. Because it's supposed to work. I don't know if that's what I need. Well, what? It's wagging with this. It looks like it's wagging for that. I know it's... I don't think it is. I don't think it's working. But... that's really weird. Add... tail... wag... Okay. Add... add... tail wag... scene 1... no. I'm confused. Hold on. I'm gonna pause the music for a second so I can hear this person who got it to work.
Rigging in Live 2D, you're probably gonna get to a point where you'd want to create a parameter that moves like the breath parameter.
Yes.
Just a slow movement. But I also want my ears.
Okay.
This means that for the... in this part, the tail didn't move like I wanted it to. This is because the tail animation ended here after 5 seconds. Right here. So let's go back and look at this. And now I need to in and a half. Now, this is the animation I want to import into my model. Which means I'm gonna save this as this now. I'm going back to the model window and I can actually pull up the animation if I go into the physics window over here. In here I need to find the scene blending, open up here and
What? What is that? I don't have that function. I don't have that. 5.2 scene blending. I don't have that option right there. It's right under the physics tab. Physics, there should be right here. Right. No, it's literally right up there for them. Physics, it's like, instead of playlist? Oh my god, they named it playlist instead.
and now under imported files in the editor, this is automatically gonna show the
Perfect.
animations you have in the same window. As I have the animation just made still open, it's just here. Click OK and here you can go
And then I should be able to make sure that that is that, that is that.
under
Right.
scene blending and we have the scene 1. To add it, I create a new playlist and add the animation under here. I can see under playlist, play a scene, play scene 1. It's gonna play like this.
Let's see. Add that. Scene 1. Play. Nada. Let's try. Please add a playlist to the playlist. Ah! Add. Tailwag scene. That don't work. That don't work. What the heck?
And to import it into your model, you need to first export the model itself.
I don't know how it's working. How did you get it to work? I did everything you just did. I did everything they did. I am very confused. Yes, save that. Let's reopen Tailwag. Let's delete these. Because that could be contributing to the problem. Maybe, probably not. Yeah, what the fuck? I am confusion. Like, for some reason, like, it works for pattern A, but it doesn't work for scene 1. Playlist tail wag. Tail wag, and then... Ooh, it turned red. Why did it turn red? God, I love the scuff. I genuinely, I don't know why it's not working. It's supposed to be working. I baked it properly, I think. Well, this person didn't even bake it. From my general knowledge, you're supposed to bake it. I don't know. Bake animation from parameter controller. Overwrite scene and bake. Because if you bake it, then it applies like all of the animations and stuff to the it applies it to the file so you can actually see it. Scene group. What does this do? No, does not work like I thought it would. I don't know nothing. Posing. Pattern B. Oh. Do pattern B. Okay. There is one other way I can test it. There is one other way I can test it. We can export for runtime. Oh. We can generate the texture atlas. Because we need what we'll do. It's a big fucking model, so Leah, Atlas. We're just I'm just gonna let it automatic layout. I'll go in, I'll manually do it, you know, when once I'm finished with the model. But for now, this will work fine. Oh, there's a midnight. Night night. Aw, babies. We can, I guess, not put the music back on. I just want to make sure it works. That's what I'm worried about. If you get it to work, I'll be satisfied. It's gonna take forever to Atlas 16,000 by 16k. Hold on. Oh, oh. Yay! We crashed it! Let's try that again. Let's just do 8,000 for now. Instead of 16. Let's manage with just 8k. This atlasing is still gonna take forever. Go low. There we go. Okay. That's good enough. We can export. Oh shit. That's cut off. Oh, that's cut off. Oh, fuck. I cut it off. Ah. Something is not named correctly because I just saw layer 180. I'm probably gonna end stream in a. Oh god. In very shortly. Like, actually, probably like. Let's retry this. Let me look. Who's currently... Yeah, I'm... We are... Oh my gosh. We're gonna raid out here. I am very tired all of a sudden. Holy crap. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. We're just gonna raid ducks. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful night. I'll see you when the next time I stream is. Probably Wednesday. But we'll see. Bye-bye! Guys, have a good one!